my knee. Swelling, had a meniscus in 21, and it popped on me back in June, and so it's swelling a little bit.
Playing golf?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the movie, right? That's
Actually,
your
yeah.
swing game,
Yeah, that was the one. So anyway, just try to keep some swelling out of it.
So you're probable for Sunday?
I am probable. I am definitely probable.
Is it a partial or a full tear?
It was wasn't just a little nick. It wasn't a complete tear.
Play through that.
No, I'll play through.
Well, speaking of injuries, how's DT looking? How's Christian looking? Projections heading into Sunday.
Christian's doing well. Would expect him to be a full go, for the game. DT is someone that's going to be more day to day. We're going to get him out there and move him around today and see how he feels and try to ramp up his progress each day.
When you look at the Dolphins' offense, what comes to mind?
Speed. And a lot of misdirection, a lot of motions and shifts. Obviously they do a great job with that in their run game as well. And it kind of can cause you to just distort your eyes a little bit, right? And get off your cues and that's where some of the big plays have come, for them. And obviously, we know Tyreek and Waddle and the guys. I mean, just a lot of speed and something that we got to be able to at least try to match. Otherwise, be in the right position.
How much trouble can speed like that cause a defense?
I mean, they're on you fast, right? When you put the film on, these guys are on you and they're by you. And I think Tua does a great job of anticipating where the windows are and where the holes are going to be, and receivers are in the right spots.
Over the years, when you're preparing for a season opener, do you find it more difficult just because the roster's new, and particularly in this situation with a new defensive coordinator, or is it in some ways easier because you have so much time to prepare as opposed to all the other opponents?
I would say time, if you knew the defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator, would be, because you have familiarity with them. In this case, you're sort of speculating, with what you could see. I mean, you got a good chance of, what Coach Weaver's done in Baltimore. I mean, that's obviously something that teams are trying to, I think, duplicate a little bit, is that style of defense. And so we got tape. Obviously, we've played Baltimore the last couple of seasons, so there's some familiarity there. But you're just you got to trust your game plan. You got to trust your rules. You got to trust the things that you've been doing all spring and summer, and just make the adjustments during the game.
Was this the toughest camp you've had since you've been here, or did you purposely make it that way?
I feel like it was hard. Being the third camp here, I think it. The first one's always can be tough too, just because the unknown, I guess. But this one was purposeful, just in my own quirky way.
Why?
I don't know. You camp is camp, and you kind of want it to be hard. You want it to be tough. It's as they say, the dog days of summer, and I just think there's no substitute for the hard work, and put the guys through as much pressure and stress as possible, not only on their minds and bodies, but I think just the way we practice can hopefully, late in the season you lean on that, right, and you lean on those tough moments.
Have you decided who's going to call plays Sunday?
Still working through that. Press and I are still talking about it.
Is there what's the advantage from a gamesmanship standpoint of Miami not knowing whether it'll be you or press?
Oh, I don't know. I think if you're just looking at the offense, I mean, and studying that, I mean, the coordinators are looking at personnel. They're looking at formations, motion shifts, just like we do offensively, and I don't think it's really not a whole lot of difference. I think, Press and I think alike, a lot of times, and converse a lot of times during games, and I just think that if you're looking at us, there's probably not a lot of differences.
What do you say to the rookies this week about to make their NFL debut? I know they played in preseason, but is this week any different? Like, do you have to prepare them for anything emotion-wise?
I think just being able to control their emotions. They're used to playing in front of big crowds and things like that, but these are different. And being able to control your emotions and really just kind of focus on your game plan and your role, your assignments, I think is the biggest thing. And I think too, just do what got you here and just trust that.
Press call plays from the field during the preseason, just communication-wise, how does that work for you and him? Is it better than him being in the box?
I mean, it's better because we can be face to face, and there's conversations that he and I can have, off the mic. So I like that part of it, But I think for him too, it's a comfort level, doing it, and he obviously can feel the game. Plus for him too, and really it was when I did it a couple years ago. You're on the field with the quarterbacks too, and you're right there face to face.
So regardless of who's calling plays, throw that part out. Do you expect Press to be on the field?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Do you go into
Unless it's raining.
Yeah. Roof thing, right?
Yeah, we're not. I don't think we're going to be covered.
Do you talk to the team at all about this is a game that could have huge implications in January for you guys, whether it's seeding or maybe just who gets in? Do you go through that at all with the team? That it's not a division game, but it is a very important game potentially because both teams look like they could be vying for a spot.
Yeah, no, I really, it's week 1. A lot can happen between now and week 18. So, I think in my mind, yeah, I think of it that way, but I think when you're talking to the team, I don't want to put that kind of pressure right now. I mean, it's just not, it's week 1, and, you just want to play good football and get off to a good start and see what happens. But I don't have those conversations, not this early.
Are there any unknowns going into week 1 for you? Or do you have a good grasp of what you guys are and how you want to play, but are there any unknowns as far as you're concerned?
From us, no, I think, but from them, possibly yes, right? Because, everything's a little bit new defensively. So there's going to be some unknowns, some things that pop up. But again, it just goes back to, we as coaches have to trust our instincts and coach our players accordingly, make the adjustments.
You get antsy or eddy or butterflies at this point? In your
Always,
career?
always. I think if you don't, it's time to move on. Quite frankly, I get nervous for the players. I get nervous for us as coaches. I mean, it's just the excitement of playing meaningful games.
Can you learn anything about the makeup of this roster with how they handle this first game week and handle the first game?
Can I learn
anything about your locker room, the team?
Yeah, I think you learn a lot about your leadership. Going into week 1 and coming out of week 1. I think plus it's we're on the road. First week, so I think there's some little detail things that you find out about guys and probably more so the leadership of your football team.
I'm realizing now, you led with your meniscus, but we probably should have asked you the 5 captains that were selected, just if you would expound upon the selection of each of those gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great honor, obviously, to represent, the team this year. I felt like, Trevor and Evan, for the last 3 years have done a great job of leading the offense and being a part. And of course, Trevor, being our mainstay and kind of the face of the franchise. And then defensively, Foye and Josh, I mean, 2 guys that again, have just been staples, and they lead by example, the way they work on and off the football field. Their conversations with the team, conversations with me, it's just kind of fitting. And then Logan, Logan's been, for the 3 years I've been here, going on my 3rd year now, he's been a rock in the special teams, department, and he's been solid and again, a leader over there. So those 5 guys really are deserving of, this honor of being captains and leading this football team.
Do you expect Eric Armstead to be a full go, the full allotment of snaps, or is he going to be on a snap count just to start him out?
No, I think with Eric, we'll see how the week goes, practice wise, and see how he feels. But shouldn't be able to, or shouldn't limit him in any way.
The kind of player is Jalen Ramsey, especially if he's fully healthy, and what are your expectations for where he might be following or on one side or
Just wish he would have played more in the preseason to see, but solid player. I mean, you give him a lot of respect for what he's done in his career, and the thing you realize sometimes too is he can play inside, the nickel spot, and besides playing outside. So, you just got to know where he's going to be and understand that. Give him his respect, and players like this. I mean, these are good players to have on your football team, and he's one of those, sort of their staples on defense. He's physical. I've gone against him a couple of times in different locations, and he's always seems to show up around the football. So you got to be careful where you throw the football.
The owner, we saw him the other day when the owner says this is the best Jaguars team assembled, and it says time to win is now. Does that add any additional pressure on you, or does that add any additional sense of urgency or anything?
That's quite honestly, that's what I was hired to do, and that's why we brought these players in here to do, right, is to win football games. And we're not going to make excuses for why. We just have to go do it. So I can appreciate that, and it doesn't add any extra pressure or anything like that. We just have to go, do our jobs.
How challenging is that Dolphins running back room and how they deploy them? How unique is that?
It is a bit of a challenge. They play a lot of different combinations of guys and personnel groupings, and again, it just goes back to being on point this week in practice, and it's great communication from sideline to the field and getting our substitutions right, and obviously there's some speed in that room too. So it's something that definitely has to be accounted for, but it all starts with the communication process.
No Chubb for them, but the defensive front, obviously Phillips coming off of a significant injury. Your expectations for him, Calais, the rest of that group?
Yeah, I think Phillips, I think he's someone that's going to play. Sounds like he's going to play anyway. And he should. I mean, he's been talking that way, and he's a great player. And then Calais, we know him, played him last year, and obviously a great player, and just a really good, solid, defensive line. That again, it's a different combinations of front, different combinations of personnel. David Long, we know, is a linebacker, from where he's been in Tennessee, and know him a little bit. So it's a good group. It's a good, solid group, and their back end is, an experienced group as well. So it's a challenge, for our offense, and it'll be a good test for our offensive line.
At linebacker next to Foye, it says Chad Muma or Devin Lloyd on the depth chart. Is there any clarity, or is that situational based? Or
It's usually situational. Yeah, situational based. Yeah. It's Doug Pederson or Press Taylor.
It's a mic drop.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Doug.